Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's time for ukulele. And let me go post the link on our website. The website is Jolly Roger Ukulele. We meet here every weekday to play rock and roll. And today we are playing Home on the Range. And then we will be playing Vive la Compagnie. And we will be having a tremendous time doing both of those things. And I'm glad you are looking either live or at our recording. And what we do here around these parts is play ukulele as an instrumental tool rather than a backup to your vocal. We also do that, but we don't do that's not our primary emphasis. Let's see. Eventually, everybody will come rushing in here. Somebody will tell me, "Hey, the sound is good." I hope we've had pretty good luck with sound, and I think I've figured out the lighting good enough for what we are doing these days. And there. All right. So good. Everybody's here. So as soon as somebody walks in and says, "Hey, the sound is good," we will know we're ready to play. There you are. Sound is good. Linda is here. Linda knows everything, so we're delighted that she thinks I sound good. We'll be talking about this board here. I know this board looks pretty raggedy right now, but I'm gonna get better markers, and so this is the only thing that matters. I'll tell you about all the rest of this stuff here momentarily. Sound is good, light is good. I look normal, right? I have a slight pinkish hue. I have the white balance set to just be automatic. So a big light here. I have this is actually a lamp that's super, like, seriously, it's falling apart. But it has a normal, like remember back when we could buy normal bulbs? Like there's a bulb in that, and so it's got a kind of a yellowish hue. So we balance out the blue from this, and I think that's a thing. I don't know what I'm doing with lighting. Don't know. I know what I'm doing with sound more or less, but I don't know what I'm doing with lighting, and I don't know why I'm on video at all. But this is where we're at in our world, and I'm glad you guys are here. Let's see. Nancy wandered in. Howdy, cowboy. Yep, home on the range today, and Vive la Compagnie. Okay, so we're going to be two quite different tunes actually, which is kind of exciting. And I get me set up here. They're really both of them are fun to play, to be honest. Home on the Range, slow, beautiful, trying to get all the beautiful tones out of your ukulele, and Vive la Compagnie is about getting that march feel. So both of these are kind of cool tools to have in your quiver, cool arrows to have in your quiver. Let me get the metaphor correct, and then you take those arrows and you go shoot somebody with them. Don't shoot anybody. You go fire. You shoot your arrow at a tree. Don't shoot it at a tree. Shoot it at a bale of hay with a target on front. Follow. Keep this very legitimate. Let's see. Donna is back. All right. Glad you're here, Donna. Let's see. HIJKL. I gotta learn to put it to HI. H is before I. Home on the Range. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, it's 12:07. We'll probably better get started. Sorry, I got in a little bit late today. Melissa's here. Messing with Estudio this morning. Printed the second copy to keep at the piano. Yeah, right. Estudio is a legit piece of music. Glad you guys are working on it. Everything looks and sounds good in Chile, Eugene. Okay, so I think this is the new thing. This is it. You will forever be wondering about this poster. It's just her feet, right? And she goes up, and she's very tall, and the top of the piece says Deco. So that's kind of probably, if I don't know a ton about design and any of that stuff, but I do know that I like Art Deco. That's it. There's a couple of, in Denver, they have all these, the big percentage of the kind of mansions down around where I'm living were built in the late 1800s. And then the further you go out, you can kind of see the different building styles. And we go sort of up over onto 17th Street, you can see the Art Deco influence in the 20s and 30s showing up out there, which is kind of cool. Less of that because, of course, the economic times were troubling. Let's see. Everything looks good and sound. Let's see. Farmer Ted is Check. He's in. Farmer Ted, you missed the harmonica class. What the heck are you doing in the ukulele class? Farmer Ted, those of you who don't know, Farmer Ted is a just after college buddy of mine, famous artist, famous thinker, famous humanitarian, and dare I say it, and also on top of everything else, an organic apple farmer. So he's I gotta send you an email, Ted. I think I have your email address somewhere. Back in the day, we were tight. Then I moved away from New Mexico, and he got married, and I got married, and well, I think I was always married. I was married. No, I wasn't always married. I was not married when I went down there. I came back married. Anyway, we ended up with living life, and I haven't been able to keep up with my buddy Ted, so I want to. Brigitte in from Florida. Hey, everyone. All right, here we go. So let's talk Home on the Range. A couple of things I want you to be aware of on my notation. First, it doesn't have repeats written on here, but you guys know at this point, theoretically, that you're going to play down through 32. You're going to go back to the top, play back down again. You're going to play up to 30, but you're not going to repeat 31 and 32 because that's the first ending. Remember, when you're looking at repeats, you look above where the repeat is, and there's a bracket, and it says, all right, repeat number 1, and it starts at 31. So if it's your first time through, you play into 31. But this repeat number 2 starts at measure 33, and that means you don't play 31 and 32 the second time you come around. So make sure you're clear on your repeats. Second thing is there's an actual official typo on here. One of these days I'm going to fix this, but down at measure 16, you see you've got a 0 on the 4th string. That should be a 3 on the 2nd string. You're just carrying that note all the way through. So don't hit a 0 on the 4th string. That will not serve us. We want to just pull that note all the way through. 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, res. Okay, and that's how we want to play that. So just have it be a 3 all the way through. And the reason you know that is the top string is a G, and the second string of the 3rd fret is a G. Those are the same note. The computer, I got better at running it, and so, but you have to tell it not to do that when you're working with ukulele, because it wants to put everything on the lowest possible fret. And it's like, well, I could put it here, which is where a normal person would put it, or I could put it here, and a crazy person would put it there. So if I'm a computer, I'm going to put it there. So that's a typo. The other thing, measure 4, measure 12, and measure 28. I put them as C chords because this was originally meant for brand new type players. You wanted to sound pretty, but it actually sounds better if you put a C minor in there. Okay, so that's the difference between C chord is you can play a C chord just with one finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret. That's your C chord, of course. But C minor, you take your index finger and you cover the bottom 3 strings. So strings 3, 2, and 1. Then you get a minor sound there. And it sounds pretty. So that's measures 4, 12, and 28. You might want to think about substituting a C minor. Probably when I repost the sheet music, I'll probably put it as a C minor because it's not that much harder to play this versus this. Okay? And it just sounds prettier. It doesn't affect you unless you're singing it or unless you're playing tough uke. And then that's will be there. All right. So let's go through a couple. Let's sing it one time. As you guys know, I'm a horrid singer, but we want to make sure the chords are working for you in case you are a singer. And then we're going to play through the melody and play through the tough uke. Melissa, good idea. Yeah, I think especially those of you guys who've got a little bit of prior knowledge on any other instrument, really does help to take this sheet music and go mess around with it on your instrument and see, just get a sense of how the music's working. I like to do that with all the sheet music. Like every time I get Pianist magazine, right before I put it on the shelf, I peek through it, always has sheet music in there. I'm like, any of this would work on ukulele, any of this could work on harmonica, and if it does, then I'll mess around with it on one of the other instruments for a little while, and then it goes on the shelf. All right. Let's do chords. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I don't have the right markers, so you can't read this hardly. But I will fix. I'm getting my fat markers are over at the other studio, and so I'll go get those tonight. But here's what this says: you need to be able to draw this clef without looking at a reference. Okay, so your job tonight, music theory wise, is to figure out how to draw a clef consistently and regularly without looking at another clef to do it. Okay, so I want you to be able to just draw that clef just like you're a real musician, right? Musicians hardly ever write out a clef because they always get pre-printed sheet music, but you need to be able to do it. If you can draw this without looking at a reference, you can order the tea towel that goes on the stove, and then you can also order the mug with the coffee cup, because you're officially a musician once you can draw a clef. This clef for you guys has two separate names, and so your job is to figure out what the two names of it are. And one name, for those of you with prior knowledge, will come in very quickly. You'll be like, that is a blank clef. But there's also a second name, remember, for those of you who have some previous experience. And so we'll talk about that. Ukulele music is always played on this clef, and it is played in proper tune. So when you write on this clef ukulele music, it comes out at the correct tone. So draw it. Okay, tomorrow we'll have a little fancier board, and we're going to go into the next level of talking about music. With those of you with prior music experience, hopefully this would be just a nice review. Those of you with no music background in reading sheet music, this should start you on that process of getting you thinking about what's going. Why do we always have all this stuff on here when really we're just playing tabs? And so I want to get you comfy with that stuff. It was below freezing outside, and I went outside and got my coffee. That's how badly I need coffee. All right. And their entire electronic system was down at my Starbucks, so it didn't even show up on the app. I went down, I'm like, you guys don't exist. And they're like, I know, we're having a terrible day. All right, grab your chords. First chord is a G chord. Make sure your index finger is above, middle finger is below, ring finger's here. Make sure I don't see your thumb. Make sure you're holding the ukulele at this angle. Next chord will be a D7. Okay, so just straight up there. It's one beat, and then you go right back to G. And from this G chord, you're going to go down to a C chord. Okay, and then remember, you're always practicing on how you get back to things. At measure 6, you're going to go from a G chord to an A7, so just slide back, and then you're going to go to, at measure 7, lead with your index finger to get that D7 on. Okay, then back at measure 9, go back down to the G chord. All right, and then you repeat that basic idea. Nothing really new in the next bunch of measures. Go all the way down to measure 21. You'll find this chord, E minor. This is the one that ate my lunch when I was learning how to play ukulele. I couldn't get this one. Okay, so index, middle, ring, like a nice little stair step. It's a beautiful chord on ukulele. I absolutely adore it. Okay, from that chord, you're going to go to an A7. So I would lead my index finger over to that A7. And then next page, we have, I'm going to put my foot pedal on. I didn't realize we had to turn pages now. That's it. That's all your chords. Okay, so that's the chords that we'll be working with today on this song. Let me see how it goes. Okay, good. I have shoes on today, but normally they're playing in my socks. So I can guarantee you that my page turns will go very poorly. All right. If I ever decide to do a piano concert, I think it's Tori Amos who plays in her socks all the time. I'm gonna go Tori Amos on everybody. I like, when I play the piano, I never wear shoes, because you gotta get into tune and into sync with your sustain pedal in order to make it go well. All right, let's sing. Pardon my singing. 1, 2. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, and the deer and the antelope play. 2, 3, 1, 2. Where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Home, home on the range. 2, 3, 1, 2. Where the deer and the antelope play. 2, 3, 1, 2. Where seldom is heard a discouraging play it again. What I tell people all the time, those of you guys who enjoy singing, it doesn't matter what's going on in the melody. You can't care about it. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You got to keep this 3 beat very steady. Now, if you decide to fancy it up a little bit, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and still 3, right? Still very steady, because when you play as a singer, and you're playing your chords in the background, you're also the drummer. And so you need to keep your right hand steady and keep it moving. That's why I tell all you guys all the time, right, that this is a very effective way to create a different feeling. Like if you go back through the second time, switch to your 4 fingers and 4-string pluck. Oh, give me a home where the, and just like that, so that you continue to get a nice steady beat. Rhythm in music, obviously, rhythm's the most important, melody's the second most important, and together, you don't even need the harmony, but that's what this delivers you as well. So, you got your drum and your harmony, and out of your face comes the melody, and everybody just, that's how you end up picking up a Grammy. And if you're cute, if you're young, and if you have put in your time, you got to be 18 years old and already been on the road for 4 years, then you can get a Grammy. For those of us who are not going to be doing that anytime, you still got to keep your rhythm steady, right? And do the best job you can singing. All right, so there's your chords. Chords are not brutal, but we are working in the key of G this week, so this is coming up a lot. Those of you who are newer, this is a lot, right? That's a very challenging chord to manipulate. Once you go away from it, you're like, oh shoot, now I got to get it back on, right? And I think the most important thing you can do is not play the song at speed, but be thinking mindfully about how to move from one chord to the next. Oh, give me, okay, boom, boom, boom. Hey, boom, boom, boom. Home where the buffalo roam, and the boom, 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 deer and the boom, antelope play. That's all right. Play. So be mindful to be really thinking about not just what shape you have to get on, but how you get from one shape to the other, because that ultimately was going to make you faster. And the way to get faster is to slow way down and really think about, how do I get from whatever chord I'm on to the next chord quickly, with the least amount of fanfare and drama. That's one of those things that, and on fretted instruments of all type, you're always going to be doing some weird shape that's got to go to the next weird shape. What's the least amount of work I can do to do that, and what finger am I going to use to find my target, and then drop on my other, whatever it happens to be. Okay, so you're usually picking one finger as the lead in that situation, and then the other two guys, once I get him to his target, the other two guys can do whatever they need to do. Hey, Lynn, welcome in. All right, there's those. Let's play the melody. Okay, remember, 2s, 3s. Wait, what? We're in key of G? No 1s? Okay, so that doesn't make sense to play in first position, does it? Because you're just wasting your index finger. Let's move your index finger up to second position. Middle finger will grab the 3s, and anything else will be grabbed by your pinky. And here's what's exciting. There is nothing else, okay? There's all, oh no, wait, I'm sorry. I'm down at 17. There is 1 5 that shows up. But if you're in second position, you already got it covered. Okay, so there's a 5 down there that's going to sneak up and beat you up. Home on the range. Okay, nice and slow. 1, 2. There's also a 5 up there, huh? Two, three, 1, 2. 2, 3. 2, 3, 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. Two, three, 1, 2, and then you would start over. Oh, and then go right back and play it the second time. And so that's actually a really nice one to just get comfy playing in second position, right? You've only got those 2 5s that show up, and so then your pinky's right there. So you don't even need to move anything. Economy of motion. We're musicians. The less work we do, the better off we are. It's not that we're lazy, right? It's that you want to minimize the amount of the potential downside of making mistakes. And as long as you have played through a song a few times, figured out what's the least amount of work I can do to make these things happen, I'm going to be in much better position to play it well than if you are going with a system that, Gary always says play in first position. Well, now all of a sudden my pinky's got to reach out further to get that 5. Good chance I'm going to blow it. Whereas if I'm playing in second position, my pinky, every note is already covered, and all I have to do is remember that when I see a 2, I'm going to use my index finger instead of what I usually use for a 2, which is a middle finger, right? So that's part of playing in different keys, as I really do like it when we say, all right, this is how we do it in the key of C. Here's how we do it in the key of G. Here's what's likely to happen in the key of D. We don't have that many keys that we ever play in on this instrument. That most, and in that sense, if you go all the way up to the high end with all of the people that I are like, well, I've been with Gary for 10 years and we play in 10 of the 30 keys. That's a lot, right? It's very uncommon for ukulele players to play more than 3 or 4 keys. But you want to have those skills. And so this is one of those skills. Is when you're in G, you're probably going to make a lot of sense to play in second position. All right, finally, Home on the Range. This, by the way, I adore this arrangement. I just think everything about this thing is beautiful. And I've only driven through Kansas. When I grew up, my stepfather, he was that stepfather. We would go down to where he was from. He was originally born in Arkansas, and then he moved to this small little town in Kansas. And we used to go down to this little town in Kansas. And when you're a little kid and you visit a farm, you're not visiting a farm. You are additional labor. You're helpful. And so they used to put me in charge of the chicken coop. I had to go out and get the eggs in the morning, and then I had to clean the chicken coop in the afternoon. And by the way, chickens suck. Chickens are awful. They're mean, and they poke you, and they smell, and they're awful. And so that's my experience of Kansas. I also went one time. We went down, and we had to do the turning little boys into not little boys, and it was brutal. It was brutal. So that I remember quite vividly. I have no other fond recollections at all of Kansas, but this song, which is the state song of Kansas, is absolutely wonderful, and it fits under this really nicely. Here we go. We'll walk through it all, and then we'll play it through twice. Okay, so grab your G chord, as we always do. Hit the 2. You're already holding down the 3. You're going to have to lift up your middle finger to get the 0, and then put it right back down to get a full G chord. Beautiful. Song reminds me of my childhood in Montana. Yeah, right. I think a lot of just if you lived out west, a lot of people would play this song. Kansas owns it, but we don't care, right? It makes us feel very Western. I didn't know you grew up in Montana. That's awesome. 3, 2. Okay, and then I'm just going to raise my middle finger up to get that 2. Now I go to the C chord, opens, and then grab a C chord. Caponizer. See, John knows what it is. John lives out in the country. He knows what goes on out there. And I know it has to be done, but when I'm a 7-year-old boy from the city, I don't need to be knowing that stuff because it's going to affect me for the rest of my life. At measure 4, I've got a C there, but if you want to change it to 0, 3, 3, 3, it sounds prettier. Okay, so when I repost the sheet music, I will change that. Okay, so either one. They sound fine. Then hit your 2, 3. Here's the chord that we keep talking about all the time. G chord with your pinky. This is coming up on a tenor. This is kind of hard, right? You're having to reach pretty far, but just get comfy with it. Work on. Remember, we have this program we use to kind of get your tenons loosened up. This one you can do this off ukulele when you're sitting there going, "I wish I was playing ukulele." Get your fingers where they're just learning to stretch and open up and get nice, soft, um, strong but soft linkages between all of your fingers. This is something we never do in life. No, at no point in your life have you ever needed to do this. And now on ukulele, you have to do it every day, right? Because you take that, put this G chord on. Now this pinky's got to go way out there. Well, look what you're doing. You're making this sort of thing live its own life, and your pinky hates that. Okay, so we get that at measure 5. Couple of threes. Right now, John's going, yeah, see how these city folk are? Taking care of the chickens and taking care of this cattle. That's just what you do, right? A7 with the 3. Hit the 2-3. And then your D7 at measure 7. Just soft and pretty. 2, 2, 0, 2. Here's where it's kind of mean. This 2 jumps up at the measure 8, and I used to always hit the 0 in the line. I've got it circled. Make sure that this is a 2. So now you're going to drop your index finger down on that 2, put your G chord back on, and you're ready to go. Okay. And a nice soft one here. 3, 2. And then it goes 0. And then a couple of 3s. And again, the C major here, or C minor here, would sound pretty. Okay, a couple of 3s. Measure 13, put a G chord on. Play it all. Lift up your middle finger. Hit the 3, it's already held down. 202, that's your D7. Hit the 3 with probably your ring finger. Open, and then go to your G chord. And then 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Again, pinky up on 5. Strum that. 2, 3. Already holding them down. And then go to the fancy D7. Notice your D7 in the singing line up on right there next to 18. If you're singing it, you can just use your easy D7. But when you're instrumental, you got to use the more advanced D7, which is a better D7. But anyway, by the way, bar here, 3 here. Okay, play that. Okay, take your 3 off, open it up, and then go back to G chord at 19. 2, 3, 2, 3. And you're going to hit 2 2s real fast. And now you got to go grab your E minor. This is the hard motion in the song. Once you get that on, and then you just hit it 3 times. Don't play this top string. Dear envy. I'm going to go grab the 1 and change this out to a 3. Sometimes I'll just grab and reach, right? Whichever makes the most sense to you. But if I'm going here, I can just reach my index finger here, or switch it out for your ring, whichever makes you happiest. Antelope, and then you go on to page 2 with a nice D7. Play, 0, 2, 0, 2. Again, you got to move your index finger down to get that 2 and put your G chord on. Where seldom, middle finger up, is, didn't strum. Heard, 3, 2. They did opening chords. And one more place for a C minor. Word, 3, 3. And measure 29, you put your G chord on. Skies are not 202. Cloud, 3, D, at all. And then put your G chord on to wrap it up. And then that last 2 takes you back to the top of the song as a pickup note into measure 1. Second time through, when we play it, you will skip 31 and 32. Remember, when you come into 32, you're going to get day, 2, 3, and then you get a nice, beautiful, it's got a glissando on it and a fermata. So that's what I want. Let it ring out for a while, and then just go reach down and grab a 10. Not too loud, not too crazy. Just to let that be. I'm done now. Give me my applause. Okay. From the top, nice and slow. 2 times through. 1, 2. to the top. Second ending. Almost dropped the ukulele. All right, beautiful. Nice piece of music, right? That's something you can work on a little bit at home. Turn that into something, we're not in a hurry, right? So we played it pretty slow, played it about, I don't know, 80 or so, and you can play it up to 120. That's what the MP3 is set at. But really, really nice piece of music, really nice chords, flows beautifully. If you live in the West or really anywhere west of the Mississippi, that feels like that's probably a song that you own, that they wrote for you. and if you live east of the Mississippi, you're probably nothing but trouble anyway. You probably want to move west of the Mississippi. Lynn. All right, let's grab Vive la Compagnie. This is a different idea altogether with Vive la Compagnie. So we'll talk about it. We got a few minutes to dig into that. Vive la Compagnie. Lots of you guys don't know this song. It's from probably French Canada, probably, but possibly really France. We don't know for sure where it came from. The reason we like it is it's in the Boy Scout songbook. And it's also got a kind of a fun message. Let every good fellow to join in this song. Vive la Compagnie. Success to each other and pass it along. Vive la Compagnie. Vive la, vive la, vive l'amour. Vive la, vive la, vive l'amour. Vive l'amour, vive l'amour. Vive la Compagnie. And then you just repeat it again and again and again. If you go on YouTube and you type it in, it's a lot of barbershop quartets or all male voice type choirs that sing this thing. Beautiful. Lynn lives in New Jersey. That's why we pick on her. You know how New Jersey is. Just to watch any show where there's cops and robbers, and it's usually set in New Jersey, right? Escape from New Jersey. And then that actually a show, I think, at one point. No, it was Escape from New York. They were trying to get to New Jersey. All right. New York and New Jersey. I don't know. Sort of. Those of us in Denver were like, yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's just scary. All right. Chords on this are hopefully not a big deal for you. C chord. But every good, and then you're going to go do your D minor. Fellow now. And then G. A lot of times when you see a D7, you're going to see it followed by a G7. Join in this song. Viva la Compagnie. Okay. Now, when in this song, 1, 2, 1, 2. And let's talk about that for just a moment. You see your meter is 6/8. Okay. So what you know is there's 6 beats in every measure. And if you look at measure 1, it's really clear. Measure 1, look up at the standard notation. Eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note. 6 eighth notes. Okay. That's where the 6/8 comes from. The 6 means there's 6 beats in every measure. And the 8 means we use eighth notes to count for 1. So let every good fellow now join in this song. 2, 3, Viva la Compagnie. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that's what's going on there. I know it's the Golden State, right? Not the this is a super scary place with a really weird airport state, right? It's not scary, and the airport got way better. I remember back in the '80s. Was it '80s? Early '80s, we'd fly into Newark because it was way cheaper to fly in there than it was to fly into New York. And one time, I don't remember, they flew us into one weird terminal. You walked out, it was exactly like an inner city bus station in there. It was just all crammed in. It was all worn out. I think it was probably under construction in the main terminal, but there were just people everywhere. And you're just like, I don't think I like this airport. And so that's my memory of Newark's airport. It got better. Last time I flew through Newark, it was lovely. Um, so anyway, we still pick on Lynn. What the heck, New Jersey, and I actually nowhere near Newark anyway. Um, Now, when we're playing 6/8, look at measure one. One of the things that we tend to do, we can either count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of counting, right? So most of the time when you're playing in 6/8, you count it in two. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, done. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let every good fellow now join in this song. Viva la Compagnie. So you can see that 1, 2, 1, 2. And the nice part is now you can feel the march in it, right? So in March, we either use a 6/8 time or we use 2/4 time. 1, 2, 1, 2. Left, right, left, right, and get you that march feel that we often see in music. Lynn says, yes, we supplied produce to New York City. My old hometown was known as Rose City. Tons of greenhouses, long gone. Right. Most of New Jersey, that is actually what it's like. It's very, pastoral and beautiful. But Newark and right up the coast there, a lot of mayhem as far as I can tell based on the movies. All right. Um, Now, so let's go through 1, 2, 1, 2. Remember, we got da 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 dum da 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 dum da dum da 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 dum 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 dum. So you want really just strumming twice and probably a little bit of a, you can use your thumb. You can also use all four fingers going down. Okay, so way different than what we played with Home on the Range. Try to keep it secret. I know my old neighborhood, but I grew up in over here on the west side of town. It used to just be these giant sort of gentleman farm type things, 2, 3 acre lots, lots and lots of those all around. Now they've sold all of them out, and it's all these weirdo 1990s mini mansions everywhere. It's really sad. All right, from the top, just singing and strumming. Try to get one heavy duty strum on each chord. Okay, 1, 2. Let every good fellow now join in this song. Viva la Compagnie. Just us to each other and pass it along. Viva la Compagnie. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amour. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amour. Viva l'amour, viva l'amour, viva la Compagnie. One more time. Let me go to the top. Sorry, blew it. With a friend on your left and a friend on your right. Viva la Compagnie. In love for and fellowship, let us unite. Viva la Compagnie. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amour. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amour. Viva l'amour, viva l'amour, viva la Compagnie. Okay, so that's what you're working on. I still haven't got the chords exactly on cue because I'm busy trying to sing songs that I don't have the words memorized to. But slow it down. Let every good fellow now join in this song. Viva la Compagnie. Strum. Success to each other and pass it along. Viva la Compagnie. And then the chords through the chorus are really beautiful, right? Viva la, viva la, viva l'amour. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amour. Viva l'amour, viva l'amour, viva la Compagnie. Okay, So that sounds nice, and really, actually, the chords sound beautiful on ukulele. All right, let's play the melody real quick just to make sure you've got that nailed down. How are we doing on time? We're fine. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 1, 0, 3, 3, 3, 5, 2, 3, 2, 3, go. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 1, 0, 3, 3, 3, 2, 5, 2, 3. Sorry, 2, 3, 7s. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 7, 7, 7, 7. 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5. 2, 2, 2, 0, 2, 3. Okay. So the melody is iffy, right? The melody is not that awesome. There's enough there to make it into something that really works. The upper part of the melody, where you're going through the verses, actually the verses are harder to sing. A lot of times in music, they will simplify one or the other depending on what they're working on, and so it's kind of interesting that the harder melody is in the more complex chords section of that, whereas there's almost no melody going on in the chorus. Just some really cool chords underneath there, and fun way to put a piece of music together. Now let's play the tough uke. Shouldn't be a big deal at this point. Grab your 3 here, and then you're going to jump immediately to your C chord. 3, strum the C chord. 3, 3, 3. You got to put your D minor on really quickly and add your pinky to get to that other 3. Slide it back to O, and then you've got a G7 here. And the smart thing would be to put the G7 on and add your pinky, but that's not necessarily very comfy. So what I will probably do is grab a regular G chord, 0, 2, 3. Then I'm going to pull my middle finger up to get the 0. Be putting my 1 down, and then hit those zeros for the C. So I'm going to have a little bit more motion probably, because if I do this, there's a little less motion, but I feel like my potential for failure goes up a lot when I'm dropping my pinky on here. So you're probably going to want to go to G chord. Okay, and then some C's. And then you got that D chord with your pinky again. I'm just from straight out of Home on the Range. Pull your pinky, and then a C chord. That 0 is just decorative, okay? Hit the 3 again, and then a C chord. D minor with the 3. Pull it back to get the 2, and then open. G chord, open. 1, all zeros, and then the 3. G chord with your pinky. Pull the pinky, and C. Again, the decorative 0. And then you're going to slide up here. Probably ring finger on the 7 makes the most sense, since you're going to be using the 8 here in just a second. Pinky on 8, bar on 5. This is going to come up all of the time in your life. Okay, now you've got this high G7, 5, 7, 5. This is a chord we talk about a lot. It's going to keep coming up. Probably don't like it when you first meet it, but eventually it's just one of these chords that we do. 5, 5, 7. Okay, so it's 5, 7, 5. And it comes up often. That's called the high G7, is what I've decided it's called. Okay, 5, 7, 5, go. Slide back up to the 7. Okay, go grab your A minor with your index finger and your ring finger on 3. Okay, and then you've got the high D minor, which is bar on 5 again, ring finger on 7. I put in 2 decorative notes there for no reason whatsoever. And now to your low G7. Middle finger up, ring finger up, put it back down, and then a nice C chord to finish up. Okay? All right, so that's what we got. Let's give it a try. 2 times through. Second time that you go through, don't play measure 16. Just twice through is plenty. And I'll play slow. 1, 2. play it again. Isn't that lovely? I love that. I guess it just has it feels a little French. It feels like a little bit of a march, but it feels also very brotherhoody and all of that kind of stuff. So very fun. Lynn asks, Gary, on the 575, is it okay to use the pinky for the 7? Yeah, in fact, Lynn is asking about this question right here. Okay, so I got 557. That's your high G7. Could I use my pinky there? Heck yeah. In guitar, that's what we use because the frets are so far apart, you really have to use your pinky. But yeah, it makes perfect sense. The other thing that's come up before is, hey, could I use a partial bar here and then maybe use my middle or my ring or my pinky there? And the answer is absolutely. You can absolutely do it that way too. I have always found this to be the fastest and easiest and most reliable, but you could absolutely put a bar on and ring finger or possibly pinky. Or if you want to put these two on and then it's more convenient to put your pinky there, that's fine. Again, most of you guys are playing tenor ukulele, so you've got a little bit more of a stretch there, and your pinky goes there. Whatever you do, what I would probably do is I'd come up with a system and I'd stick with it because 0575 is going to come up not maybe every day, but a lot of days when you're playing instrumental ukulele, because that G7, you need those higher notes and you just really can't reach. That's just not a convenient reach. So, but it's so much easier to get here and you get that on and you get this high D note that's sitting right there. So that's why that one comes up a lot. All right, that's what I know. Kept you 3 minutes late. Apologize. Home on the Range and Vive Company. Tomorrow, remember, we are going to dig into the key of G arpeggio. So that's those arpeggios are super, super important for us to be digging into and getting as clean and as pretty as we can. And then ukulele, key of G. Okay, I'm continuously went these arpeggios. I'm like, it's a big difference between baritone and ukulele. You guys are ukulele. You'll be groovy on that key of G arpeggio, quite a bit harder than the key of C arpeggio. And then we will replay a studio by Torrega tomorrow. So go ahead and just put a little bit of time in on the Torrega piece because tomorrow is all going to be just all pluck, pluck, pluck. On Thursday, then we do Simple Gifts, and we'll come back to Vive La Company. So we'll have a nice day of just beautiful music on Thursday. And then, of course, we play everything on Friday. And we'll be talking a little bit about why I keep posting that circle of fifths up there. It's important that you start to understand what that's useful for, too. So, all right, you guys, have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow. And at 1 o'clock, or the class right after this, I forgot, what are we working on today? Oh, I Dream of Jeannie. If you want to ruin your day with an earworm, come for the next hour. I Dream of Jeannie. I keep hearing my wife walking around the room going, or around the house going, dum, dum, da dum, da dum, 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 da dum, da dum, dum, and it will get stuck in your head. So, yes. All right. Woohoo. More studio tomorrow. Yeah, be safe. Be safe. Guys, America's out of control. Be safe. Do good. Practice. Keep showing up here. I promise you will become a very fine ukulele player if you keep showing up. If you don't keep showing up, all bets are off. You're working on drawing this without looking at it, and subscribe and like if you want to. And thank you. We have good songs this week, right, Vic? All right, guys. I'll see you either next hour for I Dream of Jeannie, or I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you all for being here.